Hey everybody, this is Mike LePond from Symphony X and Mike LePond's Silent Assassins, and you're watching Rock and Metal News.
Hey guys, this is Ron from YouTube's Rock and Metal News, and we're in Vancouver with Mike LePond, bass player for Symphony X and also Silent Assassins. The Silent Assassins is Mike's solo project. So Mike, how did Silent Assassins sort of begin, and when did you feel the urge to create a solo project?
Well, you know, I have always been a huge fan of traditional heavy metal music, you know. Ever since I was a little kid, that was my first love. And I always dreamed of putting out a record in this kind of genre. So, you know, Symphony X, we do long tours. Sometimes it's like 2 years. So when we put out our last record, Iconoclast, we had a 2-year schedule of touring ahead of us. So I thought that was the perfect time to do it. So when I was on the bus, I would write songs, write lyrics, write music, everything. And then by the time we were done touring, I had everything ready to go and I was ready to record this album.
That's excellent. And man, what a group of musicians you have on this album. Guitarist Michael Romeo from Symphony X, Alan Tecchio, and Metal Mike on guitars. I mean, the one thing I noticed when I listened to this album is you've got the musicianship and the song structures absolutely down to a T on it. One of the interesting things I found on the album was the song, the lyrics of the songs and that. Who was writing the lyrics, and where were you coming up with some of the topics of the songs?
Well, I've always been a huge fan of history, mythology, and literature. And I always thought that that goes perfect with heavy metal because it's so epic and grandiose. So to answer your question, I wrote all the lyrics and I wrote all the music. And all the lyrics that I had compiled over many years, some of them, you know, maybe were supposed to use for Symphony X and just never quite made it. But I put it all together and I was just really happy the way each song came out. I tried to make the music to each song fit the lyrics. Like, for example, if the lyrics were about King Arthur and his medieval knights, I tried to fit them both together, the music and the lyric, so you would have kind of a conceptual song, 9 small conceptual songs.
That's an excellent point. One song I'd like to talk about is the Progeny. To me, when I listen to that, the moodiness at the beginning, the acoustic guitar, it almost has, to me, almost like a Black Sabbath feel. You can almost read a story. There's a couple of guitar bends in there that almost remind me of an Iommi feel. Can you talk just a bit about the Progeny?
Sure. I'm a huge fan of Black Sabbath. I love Black Sabbath so much, and they were a huge influence on me and still are. The song was basically going to be about some sort of a vampire apocalypse kind of thing. So it needed to be doomy, it needed to be very Black Sabbath-y and very slow. And of course, Tony Iommi was a huge influence, probably the best heavy metal riff writer that ever lived. So I wanted to put this song together, and this was a song that I actually had the bare bones for. I was working on it when I was 18 years old, actually. And what I did was I dusted it off, I updated it, added some cool little things here and there, some orchestration here and there, and it worked out really good. It's one of my favorites.
Awesome, yeah, I just absolutely love that track. And just one more track that we can touch on from the album, Apocalypse Rider. When I listen to that song, for some reason, the Ace, like a fast version of Ace of Spades comes to my head. In the chorus in the song, I hear almost like Old Priest. I could hear like Rob Halford or something singing it, and a touch of Maiden. So I mean, what a chemistry you got! Like Motorhead, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest influences in the one song, and you guys just nail it. There's the bass is way up front. You can hear the galloping bass. You can hear the guitar. Just, you know, there's riffs in it. The drumming is amazing. Good job. It just touch on that song a sec.
Yeah, well, you know, for the opening track, I wanted to really punch people in the face with it, you know. Just make a statement that this is a raw, pure, and true heavy metal record with no frills. So, I mean, always a big fan of Motorhead, and, you have that Ace of Spades drum beat that's so iconic. So I just put like a cool kind of, heavy metal riff to it, and it really sounded great. And basically it was about, it's technically about Attila the Hun, but if you're a motorcycle rider, man, that's perfect, man. You get on your horses and ride, So it was just, it's just a statement about true raw heavy metal.
Excellent. I just all around this whole album, there's so many interesting parts to it. One thing I like about it as well is that it you could tell there was time and a lot of thought put into it. This thing was not rushed at all, and you can just tell by the subtleties in the songs and the musical breaks in the songs and things like that. So really, job well done. All the fans out there that listen to Rock and Metal News, I mean, if you guys are into heavy metal, thrash, any of that stuff, you got to pick up this album. You got to listen to this album and let us know what you think of it. And I just wanted to touch just for some of the bass players out there, because you're such an amazing bass player. Just maybe some of the influences. Maybe I can hear some stuff like Steve Harris, maybe a little bit of Geddy Lee when it gets proggy, and some Lemmy. What are your bass player?
Yeah, well, you named two of them right off the bat. I love Steve Harris. He was a huge influence. Geddy Lee, of course. Another big influence was Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath, Joey DeMeo from Manowar, and the first bass player I ever learned from when I first started playing was Gene Simmons. So my style is you put all those guys in a blender, and then you really have my style. And yeah, you're right, the bass is way up front, and I wanted to go on this album for a feel of a power trio, just everything right in your face up front, and but with all nice little subtleties in there, depending on what song it is. Maybe it needs a little orchestration, maybe it needs a little of this, just to make it just right.
Yeah, perfect. And you and Michael, just you guys are just so together and on all the runs and things. And then you got Metal Mike in there, who's just amazing talent to add to it. So you got just a chemistry here for just the amazing album it is. So I just wanted to thank you for your time. And the album is Mike LePond's Silent Assassin. So check that out. It's on. You can buy that on iTunes now and all your media outlets. So check out his Facebook page as well for any links. This is Ron from YouTube's Rock and Metal News. Thanks for tuning in.